I'm trying to really figure out the Gen Z, okay? Gen Alpha, I don't know, but Gen Z, I know that they are influenced tremendously by AI, and they are AI generation, are they not? Right? And so I'm just, I have all these questions in my mind as to how the AI is going to cause them to, I would use the word devolve, not evolve, into better human being, but they're going to lose out something of humanity as a result of so much dependence on the external, and also mental. And it's because all of these have to do with cognitive. Human being is not just cognitive. Human beings have a lot of intuitive senses. They have spiritual senses. They they got bodily senses, and like most of the young kids are just plugging ideas and thoughts into their heads and creating their own fantasies about reality. And I'm very concerned about that. And they say that this AI generation really need to go back to reading books, just old books, classic books, and writing. And I'm going to try to challenge myself to writing because I have a little bit of rheumatism, so I need to write. Okay, because if you don't write, it's like your brain's not working. With the thoughts, the brain is just kind of like everything is downloaded, and you bypass all the writing. But in the olden days, we wrote everything and owned every word, every phrase that we say. You know. But even nowadays, we just type it away and then erase it, type it away. But in the olden days, it was so precious that each time you speak, you can't afford to erase it. It's a real big hassle in order to really, mark it out and then rewrite, and you're wasting a lot of pages and so forth. So you had to be very economical when it had to do with writing. So I'm thinking about going back to writing, and of course, moving your body. That's the most natural thing that then you need to do. So all of these are kind of counter AI mentality, and we have to really invest more and more in that. So I've been thinking a lot about that. The things that even in my generation we never experienced, the younger generations experiencing. It's like natural. They're born into this way. You know, like in my generation, we had no choice. We didn't have the privilege of using the internet because we didn't have the internet. You know, and having all this information we had to go to the library, and you have to get scrap magazines or articles to just write a book report. You see. And I think those were good days. I'm so glad I still have a remnant of memory of that. But the younger generation is growing up, with a phone in their right hand the moment they're born. You know, they don't they don't have the luxury like what I had, and even you guys had a little bit of that. You guys had a little bit of that before AI took over. So you as the educators of the next generation, where all whole generation is bred by and nurtured by AI, how are you gonna? What's your message? You know, what's your prophetic word to them? You see.